doctor.
Anemia is a condition that develops when your blood lacks enough healthy red blood cells. These cells are the main transporters of oxygen to organs in your body, and the symptoms of anemia, like fatigue, tiredness, occur because organs aren't getting what they need to function properly, a bit like Anele Mdoda's organs. We're going to talk about your organs? Huh?
No, not organs.
You ever done that?
No, not yet though.
Not yet. When did you first realize something wasn't right? I mean, what were your symptoms?
Very tired, and it's strange because people don't think I ever get tired because I'm always so energetic and all of that. But I was literally forcing myself to get up, to go and do stuff. I even fainted at work once, and my co-host Grant kicked me because you know when a washing machine doesn't.
Grant kicked you.
I promise you.
We're gonna get you, Grant.
You know when a washing machine doesn't work and you give it a little kick. He says, well, that's what he thought he should do, is like give it a little kick. And then I just had to go get tested. And they were like, nothing wrong with you, just anemic.
Just anemic. What are the classic symptoms of anemia, Richard?
Well, just take a step back. I mean, anemia is low hemoglobin, and we need hemoglobin to transfer oxygen from our lungs to our cells. Now, our cells are little engines that burn carbohydrate and sugar in the presence of oxygen and produce energy. And so if we don't have hemoglobin, if we're anemic, we have less energy, as you described. I presume the kick didn't work.
No, it didn't.
So you're short of breath, you're lethargic, tired, you get dizzy often, you can have brittle nails, brittle hair. And a lot of people tolerate this. I think it's part and parcel of their life.
You see, with the hair thing, you wouldn't know because I always have somebody else's hair sewn onto mine.
But you make a good point. A lot of people think, but this is normal, and they don't realize it's not normal. You shouldn't be tired all the time.
Correct. You've got to have it seen to because your quality of life improves dramatically if we diagnose and treat your anemia. And there are lots of causes, and they're easy to treat.
So how did you figure out what your cause was? Because your late mom had it and your grandmother had it.
And they only told me after I got tested though. And I was like, hey, I found out I'm anemic. She's like, yeah, so am I. It's easy peasy. And then my grand said the same thing. I was like, gee guys, thank you. But it's so easy. Like I already eat a lot of liver. I like it anyway. And it's full of iron and red meat and nuts and dried fruit like apricots and spinach, Popeye.
Show us that bicep again. That was very nice. But listen, you're talking about managing anemia already, but how was it diagnosed? A blood test? I mean, Richard, what's the best way to diagnose anemia?
Well, it's fairly crude to look at somebody's mucous membranes, their mouth and their eyes, and see if they're pale. I mean, I'm far less likely to diagnose Anele with anemia with her bright red lipstick than I would be, for example, to diagnoose somebody with lip gloss.
And how could you tell if Anele is pale? That would be a...
You look inside your eyes and then...
There you go.
Yeah, that much I know. And I can't donate blood.
So that's an interesting topic. When you donate blood, you get your finger pricked. They put a drop in it's a watery compound. And if iron's dense, obviously, so if it sinks to the bottom, you've got enough iron, you're good. If it floats to the top, you get sent back out the door, go and see your doctor. And what we need to do is we do a blood test. We do a full blood count or a finger prick, and that way we diagnose anemia, and we can go from there. Okay,
so you know you've got anemia. Now you want to know why I've got anemia. So what was your cause?
I have no idea. I didn't really listen to that. I just knew that I
So you've got anemia, but there are like 400 causes of anemia. So how would you determine the cause, Richard?
Well, there are only two real causes of anemia, if you think of it broadly. Either you've got deficiency in hemoglobin, and hemoglobin's an iron-containing molecule which transfers oxygen, or you've got a deficiency in the carrier of hemoglobin, which is your red cells. So if you're iron deficient, you're hemoglobin deficient. What do you use to make red cells? Other vitamins, B12, folate. So if you're deficient in those, you've got less red cells. And the last cause is if you're losing red blood cells, either by periods, through your periods, or from your gastrointestinal loss. So those are really the broad causes. You've got vitamin deficiencies, iron, B12, or folate, or you're losing too much.
And so now start craving stuff, like sand. I used to eat a lot of, I promise you eat a lot of sand.
Picker, we call it picker.
And chalk. I used to eat so much chalk, and I think also that's what my mom was like, this is also quite strange, Now
that's fascinating, because I think by definition we now know that you have iron deficiency anemia because of what you talked about earlier. I love liver, I love nuts, spinach. That kind of feeds you, gets your iron up. How else would you get your iron up? How would you manage your anemia?
Green apples. Am I wrong? I heard that my doctor said that to me as well.
Probably green vegetables more than green apples.
Green vegetables, but basically liver's the way to go. And people, like I said, people don't like liver, like ew, but I love it, so it's the way I do it.
And what about supplements or iron injections?
I do iron injections twice a year. I don't like taking pills at all. Even if I have a headache, I'd rather go sleep it off than take pills. So, but the iron pills are really good if your iron is down, I'd say.
Okay, Richard, so that's probably the most common cause of anemia is iron deficiency. How would you treat it?
Far and away. So the first thing to do would be to look for the cause. You know, if you're premenopausal, you've got your iron deficiency because you're not, vegan or vegetarian, then that'll be obvious. If you're a 65-year-old person postmenopausal, iron deficient, you need to look for another cause. Because either you're not taking enough in, you're not absorbing it, you're dealing with it badly, or you're losing it. So the first thing is do a blood count. Are you anemic? Yes. Do iron studies. You're iron deficient? Yes. Look at your diet and your intake. And the important thing here is that vegetable iron is not absorbed as well as meat iron, heme iron. So often you have to add vitamin C to vegetable iron to allow it to be absorbed. So ultimately, supplementation with a chelated or an oral iron formulation is appropriate. They do have side effects. Constipation is one. If that fails, providing you've excluded the cause, if that fails, there are a number of injections which you can give which are getting better and better with less side effects to supplement parenterally or directly into your system iron.
Okay, so Richard, there is a way of dealing with it. Anele, you have so much energy. I mean, I watch you and you never stop. You're on the go all the time with anemia. I'm fascinated by that. How would you kind of sum that up? How do you manage your anemia for someone sitting there going, hey, I've got what Anele's got?
I don't think it's like the end of the world on any level. I just think go have yourself tested and then also find out what's easier for you. Like you guys found out that I don't like taking pills, so injections work the easiest for me, and it's twice a year and you're there. And obviously I say with diet, it's the best way to deal with things, always.
Couldn't agree with you more. Richard, thank you so very much. And tell Grant next time, if he touches you, we are going to nail you, Grant. Come on.
I've got people.
You got people. We got people too. I guess tiredness, and here's the message, tiredness is never normal. You should have more than enough energy to thrive throughout the day and not just to survive. If you don't, it's worth checking it out with your doctor.
Hello, doctor.